Welcome to WagerTalk TV. I am Kelly Stewart, joined by Adam Trigger at Top Flight SI on Twitter and Dave Koken at Dave Koken, two of my favorite college football handicappers. We're hanging out here every single week for the college football season. Adam, Monday night, this one is a doozy because I don't know what to make of Brian Kelly at LSU. I think he's going to need a little bit of time, but I know exactly what I'm getting from Mike Norvell, that guy that I screamed at getting fired after he cost me the money line on Notre Dame last season. It's tough. This is a really fishy-looking line. You had LSU open as a 2.5-point favorite. We're now seeing this one getting up to even possibly 3.5 before kickoff. What say you about this matchup? I really am all over the board here. I feel like I can make a case for either side.
Well, let's start with Brian Kelly. I've never been a Brian Kelly guy. I've never been a Notre Dame guy. I've almost always looked to fade him. But what I will say about Brian Kelly is he typically gets his teams good quickly. And I actually think he's coming into a situation where he's got more talent than he's had in most scenarios as a head coach. You know, one thing I do commend Brian Kelly for during his time at Notre Dame is he got some of those Notre Dame teams to play well, and they didn't have a ton of top-tier talent. And if you look at this LSU roster, based, between the guys that Coach O left him, the fact that they bring in Jaden Daniels, who I really liked at Arizona State, think he's a playmaker. Brian Kelly actually has plenty to work with here. And you know what else is surprising to me, Kel? I don't hear nearly as much chatter about LSU being good this year as I thought I was going to. When they made that coaching change, you got to, that fan base, they just won a national championship a couple years ago, and they hire Brian Kelly. I thought the needle was going to move so far on LSU that I was going to want to fade this team, and it really hasn't. And I almost think getting a field goal here, laying a field goal at the Superdome, which is in New Orleans, it's going to be a kind of a regional home game for LSU, is actually a little short. So I would look to LSU here. I'm not sold on Mike Norvell yet. There's no question the roster's been upgraded. There's no question they're going to be better than last year, which is not saying much. Remember, they started 0-4 and lost to Jacksonville State in a horrible ACC. I think both of these teams take a step forward this year. I think LSU takes the bigger step, and I think LSU is the more dynamic team, so I'd be willing to lay the 3. But really, I like them to win. I'd probably look to play it on the money line.
Our good friend Megan Making Money and I talked about this game, and she said, what do you think? I said at 3.5, I think I have to play FSU, but at 2.5, which is no longer available, I think LSU is a play. It looks like a field goal type game to me. Dave, my question is what are we going to see from this FSU offense? And that is because what did we see against Duquesne? Run, 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 run. What are they going to not be able to do against this Tigers defense? I don't think they're going to be able to run. They're going to be forced to pass this ball, and turnovers really could be the differential here. And that is exactly the reason why I think I want no part of this game.
Well, I don't care what they did against Duquesne because they weren't going to show anything in that game that Brian Kelly could look at and derive something of value from. So that's just a scrimmage. I think Florida State's going to be pretty good this year. But I think LSU, there's two programs in the SEC that were train wrecks last year because of the coaching situations. Florida and LSU. And I think they're both going to bounce back this year. But I think LSU bounces back quickly. I would say the over and under on how long it takes Brian Kelly to make the playoffs. 2.5 years. Maybe next year. If not next year, the year after. He's going to be able to recruit whoever he wants, particularly since the academic requirements are not, no knock on LSU, but it's not Notre Dame, let's put it that way. And he's got a great deal of talent from a team that just mailed it in for the most part last year because of the off-the-field stuff with the coach. So I think LSU gets better really quickly, and I think they've got better athletes than Florida State does. This is SEC versus ACC, and I think it's going to show in this game. Don't know that I'm going to bet it because it is still first game out for Kelly, and we'll have to wait and see if there are any kinks to be ironed out. But I think LSU's, Adam said, and I agree, LSU's going to get better quickly. And I would not be surprised if LSU wins this by maybe 7 to 10 points.
Okay, good stuff from Dave and Adam. WagerTalk.com and the WagerTalk YouTube channel, home of tons of free content. If you guys are not subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, just click the little bell so you do not miss any more free game videos.